Hello everyone, this is Aditya Rai, third year undergraduate student from IIT Kanpur. So this video is a part of machine learning project assignment I am doing under Skyfi Labs. So my problem statement is Boston house prediction. In this assignment, I have to predict the price of houses for a given Boston house dataset which contains various features. As I have already written the code, so I am going to explain this code from scratch. So the first step is to import the required libraries. I have imported NumPy for multidimensional arrays, pandas for creating data frames, matplotlib for creating various plots, various sklearn libraries to import model like linear regression, for importing our data set of Boston prices, for importing pre-processing, mean squared error, train test split, min max scalar, and at last I have imported HTML from IPython display. So the first step is loading the dataset. I have loaded the dataset and I also have printed the description of dataset. So if we look in the description of our dataset, so there are total 506 samples in our dataset and there are 13 numerical attributes, and including the 14th one, which is target variable, the price of a house. So these 13 variables are like this: per capita income, proportion of residential land, proportion of non-retail business, etc. So these 13 variables are the key variables which will be used for my house prediction price. So with the help of these 13 variables, we are going to predict our target variable. The next step is putting these data into Panda data frames. So I have converted these variables into PD data frames. So this gives us a better insight of our variables. Now I have done the pre-processing part. So I have used feature scaling for pre-processing. Feature scaling basically helps to normalize the data with a particular range. So this converts my variable like this. Next I have converted my target variable into Panda data frames, and again I have standardized my target variable into feature scaling. Then I have concatenated my target and feature variables into a single data frame for better comparison. So this is a concatenated table. Next step is data visualization. So I have set the precision to 2 places of decimal for just my comfortability. Then my strategy for solving this problem goes like this: I will calculate the correlation values between every column on the data. Then I am going to select that variable which have maximum correlation with my target variable. So this variable will be the variable of interest, and this will be used for training my data, and then this will be further used for house price predictions. So I've used Pearson correlation coefficient. Then I have created a list of correlations and features. Then I have sorted this correlation values into in descending order. Then I have plotted my correlation with target variables and attribute in a bar plot. If we look at the bar plot, then we can see that LSTAT attribute have maximum correlation with target variable. Then second one is RM, third one is PT ratio. So a variable of interest is LSTAT. The next step is normalization. So here I have stored LSTAT into X value and target variable in Y values. Next, I have normalized my X and Y variables with the help of min max scalar that I have imported from sklearn library. I have also reshaped the data. So if we look in Y variable, so you can compare the data before normalization and after normalization. Next step is splitting the data. So I have splitted the data into 80% training data and 20% test data. So this, my 80% training data is actually the data set which I am using to train the model, and the 20% data set is the data which will be used for prediction. So xtrain variable is actually the variable which contains feature of my training data. Xtest contains the features of my prediction data, which is the test data. ytrain contains the output of my training data, and ytest contains the output that is the predicted values of my test data. I have reshaped the data variables. Then I have trained the model. I have used linear regression algorithm for training my model, as this is a prediction problem and my variables are continuous. Next, I have fitted the model. Then I have also calculated the regression coefficient. Then I have predicted my target variables. So I have stored these target variable in predictions variable. Then I have plotted this graph of prediction and target variables. So if we look at this graph, we can see that prediction values and test target variables are quite close to each other. So this justifies that this regression model is quite precise. Then I have calculated the root mean squared error and mean squared error values. So if we look at these error values, these are significantly low. It again justifies the preciseness of my model. Then I have converted these variables into pandas data frames, and I have concatenated the x, target, y and prediction variables into a single table. So this gives us a better insight for comparison of our prediction and target variables. So 0.37, 0.38 quite close. Apart from first one, all are nearly same. So this is a good model. Now I have plotted the predicted values against the target values. So these blue dots are actually the target variables, and this line is a prediction line which is overlapping the target variables quite close. Now the final step is reverting normalization to obtain predicted prices of house. So till now we have obtained the predicted prices which is the normalized values. So we have to convert these normalized values into the official or original prices of data set. So I have reshaped my data. Then I have used inverse transform to transform this back into original prices. Then I have removed extra dimension and again reshaped my data. Then I have stored these variables into pandas data frames. So this is my final table of house prediction prices, and you can compare this with official target variables. So this is these are quite close to each other, and that's it. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is Aditya Rai, third year undergraduate student